Okay, so for the last part of this lesson, what I'd like you to do is to grab some paper and a pencil, or a pen if you don't have a pencil handy, and work these problems along with me. I'm going to go through 2 examples with you, and then I'm going to say, now you try it. At that point, you should pause the video, work out the problem as best you can, and then once you hit play again, I'll solve the problems for you. And you can check to see how well you did. Okay? We're not going to go through the whole page today. We're just going to go through numbers 2 through 7, which are appearing on my screen. So number 2, well, let me start with the directions, which is write the mixed number as a fraction. Now, we did a lot of work with getting a fraction greater than 1 into a mixed number, but not so much in getting a mixed number back into a fraction. So if we were to look at this fraction 1 1/8, let's think about what that means. We're working with eighths. So 1 is equal to 8/8 plus the eighth that is part of that mixed number. So altogether, we are working with 9/8. Let's try one more together. 1 3/5. How would we show that as a fraction greater than 1? This time they're working in fifths, and I know that 1 is equal to 5/5 plus the 3. So altogether, we've got 8/5. Okay, at this point, what I'd like you to do is pause the video, try and work out problems 4, and then move on to 5, 6, and 7, keeping in mind that the directions change. 5, 6, and 7 want you to write the fraction and put it back as a mixed number. All right? So pause the video, and once you hit play again, we'll solve them. Okay, so hopefully you had a chance to solve these problems, and now it's time to see how you did. So if we go back to number 4, we're writing the mixed number as a fraction, 1 2/3. Well, again, 1 is the same as saying 3/3, because we're working in thirds for this problem, plus the 2/3 that was part of the mixed number, and that's going to get us 5/3. We jump down to number 5, the directions change. They want us to write the fraction as a mixed number. So there's a couple of ways that we can do this. We can think of this as a division problem, just like I showed you. And I'm just going to sneak down here to do the actual division. So when I divide, I get 2 3/4. But there's another way that you can get this answer. Again, if you think of 1 as being equal to 4/4, because we're working in fourths, so 4/4 plus 4/4, that gets me, that's a whole. That's, oops, sorry, that's another whole. Let me fix that. Okay. And so far, we've got 8/4, but we've got to work our way back to 11. So we are left with 3/4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 3 more equals 11. It's the same as saying 1 plus 1 is 2 3/4. Either way, you're going to come back to a mixed number of 2 3/4. Let's move on to 6/5. Again, I'll show you both ways. If I use division, I can make one group of 5 from 6. That leaves me with 1 remaining. My remainder becomes a fraction over my divisor, and that's my mixed number. Or if I think of this as 5/5 plus 1/5, which would get me back to 6/5. If I think of this as 1, I've got 1 1/5. And then finally, 13/10. And again, I could think of this as a division problem. I'm going to try and squeeze that down here. I can make one group of 10 from 13. Oops, I gotta put my 1 in the right place. That leaves me with 3 left over. So I've got 1 3/10 as my mixed number. But I can also think of this as 10/10. That gets me to 1 plus 3/10. So my mixed number would be 1 3/10. Whichever way you're more comfortable with is the way you should do it. I tend to think of it more as a division problem than pulling out the fractions that equal 1, but whichever way works for you, that's the way you should do it. And so hopefully you did well on these practice. If you didn't, no worries. We will continue this in a future lesson. But that's it for today on lesson 7.6. Good job, everybody.